Hey guys, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. So, over the last couple of days, there's really just been one topic dominating the Star Wars news space. Kathleen Kennedy stepping down, Dave Filoni and Lin Brennan taking over. There's been a lot to break down, a lot to discuss, but today, my friends, we have some massive reveals for the Mandoverse. We have some new information for Dave Filoni's Mandoverse movie, but also a cancelled project no one knew about. So no more jibber jabber, let's dive straight in. So, a couple of months ago, there was a wild rumour from someone who seems to be in the know that some of the Mandoverse directors on shows like Mando and Boba Fett were offered their own Star Wars projects. At the time, the rumour said these were going to be movies, and one of the people they spoke about was Rick Famuyiwa, one of the most integral people to Mando, and the rumour said he was offered his own Star Wars project. Well, it turns out that was true, but it wasn't going to be a movie. It was a Mandoverse spin-off Disney Plus show, another series joining the Mandoverse library with Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and Skeleton Crew. This information comes from The Wrap, and here's what they said. Most of the shows were hugely expensive, but failed to generate much interest. A live-action Star Wars series from Rick Famuyiwa, who directed episodes of The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, was developed but remains in limbo. They also reveal there was supposed to be an animated Indiana Jones show. This was going to be by Rodrigo Blas, who did an episode of Star Wars Visions, and it was codenamed Reggie, and this would have been set in between the mainline films. It was developed and cancelled. But I'm not Indiana Jones Meg, I'm Star Wars Meg. So going back to the cancelled Rick Famuyiwa show, there's only one question fans want answered. What was this series going to be about? I don't know if you remember this, and this is a very niche bit of Star Wars news that came up a few years back, but there was supposed to be a Bo-Katan project. I suppose it was never really confirmed to be Bo-Katan centric, but it was codenamed Ghost Track 17. Others believe Rick's project might have been Rangers of the New Republic, but I don't think so. The Cara Dune spin-off was all Jon Favreau. My guess is that Rick's series was something entirely different. There were rumblings of something with Cobb Vanth, so it might have been his journey after Book of Boba Fett, instead of making a season 2. A better guess is a series centered around Migs Mayfeld, because both of his Mando episodes, both Chapter 6 The Prisoner and Chapter 15 The Believer, were written and directed by Rick. It seems that he really loves that character. Now they note the project is in limbo, but for all intents and purposes, with a shift back to the big screen, I'd say there's probably more than a 50% chance it's cancelled, it's dead. But just like the way they incorporated Rangers of the New Republic into Mando, some of Rick's ideas might present somewhere else. Or maybe the rumour from last year is right, and it's being adapted into a future movie. And if this one turned out to be true, maybe the one concerning Bryce Dallas Howard's project is true as well. But now we need to talk about a project whose future is a big question mark. Dave Filoni's Mandoverse movie. There's a bit of confusion over this, so let's clear things up. Now that Kathleen Kennedy is gone, a lot of media outlets have taken the opportunity to speculate on what's going to happen, the future of Star Wars based on their sources and public information. But as a result, and I did mention this a couple of days ago, a few of their opinions and reads on the situation are being taken as fact. And what happens, especially in today's social media climate, is that these opinions get treated as truths. People don't go digging to find answers and to really read the context around which these opinions were given. And with a few key pieces of information which have come out, that's exactly the case. The example which I gave the other day is Dave Filoni's Mandoverse crossover movie. The Hollywood Reporter said it's on the back burner, and fans have taken this to mean it must be cancelled and it's never gonna happen. But the truth is, it sounds like they were speculating based on two crucial things. Number one, the future of the Mandoverse generally is up in the air. It's all based on the performance of the Mandalorian and Grogu. And the second factor, Dave Filoni's movie was announced first, in London in 2023, but Jon Favreau's movie is releasing first. So on paper, it looks bad. It's almost like they think these two projects are clashing, like it's one or the other, but that's definitely not the case. They're both part of a wider story where the New Republic is going to fight Thrawn, and there is nothing about the release schedule, nothing about Mando and Grogu coming first that negates Dave Filoni's movie ever happening. In fact, with Filoni now as co-president, it's one of the most likely candidates for the 2028 movie. With Mangold's film being on hold, with the Lando movie having a script but kind of being iffy, from what Kathleen Kennedy said, if The Mandalorian and Grogu does okay, I can see Filoni's film being next, after Mando, after Starfighter, the 2028 slot. Well, today, my friends, The Hollywood Reporter has doubled down on this notion. They have once again restated Filoni's movies on the back burner. I don't know if they're getting this from their sources, I don't know if once again it's an opinion, but I question the credibility of this. Now, it's a very different situation if The Mandalorian Grogu and Ahsoka flop. If we're talking about later in the year, and The Mandalorian Grogu pulled in a weak box office, didn't even break even with such a small budget, and then Ahsoka Season 2 comes out and it gets low viewership, then I would understand if Lucasfilm decides to pull the plug. But at the moment, there is absolutely no indication Dave Filoni's movie is in trouble, or it's being cancelled, or being delayed. And here's the thing about the wording of this. The word back burner is doing a lot of work. I don't know if this is deliberate, but it makes fans think it's not even on the upcoming slate. They might have just meant because it was announced in 2023, and it isn't one of the upcoming 2 films in 2026 and 2027. By default, it's on the back burner. It's been pushed. But they never specified when the movie was coming out, and we know for a fact from Dave Filoni's own words that he's been working on it. So all I'm saying is, please don't take this as fact, because a lot of fans have been making all kinds of implications and theories based on this. I've seen the most insane speculation based on this one sentence. People are saying the Mandoverse is dead, Dave Filoni's gonna kill off Ahsoka in Season 2, and that's gonna be the end of it. Now, while that could happen, and while there might be no Mandoverse going forward, I'm just trying to caution that nothing is confirmed at this point. The performance of the second season and the Mando movie are going to determine that, but at the moment, there's no need to panic, it's been blown out of proportion. But that's not the only revelation about Dave's movie. And again, I don't know who they're quoting or where they got this info, but they seem to confirm the rumour that it would have contained characters from Mando, Boba, Ahsoka, as well as one of my favourites, Skeleton Crew. The continuation of many of these shows was going to be in an all-in-one, crossover, big screen extravaganza. The big fight between the New Republic and the Remnant. And so finally, my friends, this doesn't concern the Mandoverse, but it is about the future of Star Wars films, and it's something which Kathleen Kennedy omitted any mention of. Rey. I would say there's a bit of hope from fans that with Dave Filoni now in charge of the creative side, we're not going to see much of the sequels ever again, that he's going to pivot to new eras, not just Mando, not just the New Republic, and this could be the start of a very different approach. And like I say, Kathleen Kennedy didn't provide any update on the Rey movie. Now, I don't want to be a downer, but I don't think the sequel trilogy is going anywhere. Despite the Galaxy's Edge revamp, it seems that according to Kathleen Kennedy, the Kinberg trilogy is going to take priority over most movies, and that is believed to be post-Episode 9, containing Rey, Finn, and Poe. And she said it's the trilogy which Dave Filoni and Lin Brennan are very excited about, so they seem very on board to continue the story of Rey. Even if the standalone movie, the one by Sharmina Obaid-Chinoy, is cancelled. Not that we know any of this for certain though. And now, insider Jeff Snyder confirms this. Rey is still part of Dave Filoni's plans. So if you were hoping the sequels were going to be decanonized or something like that, that isn't going to happen. Might there be less emphasis on the sequel trilogy? Maybe overall, but something which The Hollywood Reporter even says is there is going to be emphasis on the sequel to the sequel trilogy, episodes 10, 11 and 12. So those are today's updates, some good, some bad, some confusing. Share your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, my dear friends, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check me out on socials, and may the Force be with you, always.